Good evening. Welcome to the Fairfield City School District Board of Education meeting for March 7th, being held at Compass Elementary School. Call to order, Mrs. Lang.
Mr. Begley?
Here.
Mrs. Birding Miller?
Present.
Mr. Clark?
Present. Mrs.
Gundrum? Mr. Napier?
Here. Mr. Napier, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I'll be happy to.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Napier. Presentations and resolutions, Mr. Smith.
Yes, Mr. Begley, members of the board, we do have one presentation this evening, and that is a school spotlight on Compass Elementary. So at this time, I will turn it over to our principal, Ms. Lambert.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Compass Elementary. We're so happy to have you here. My name is Aisha Lambert. I'm the principal here at Compass, and this is Jenny Willicott. She's our assistant principal. This evening, we'd like to share with you the work of the IDEA Architects Group. So this group is led by Rebecca Dwenger, and she is an instructional technology coach from Hamilton County Educational Services Center. Her role this year has been to support technology use in the classroom to enhance student engagement, improve accessibility, and bolster overall learning outcomes. And she's been such an asset to the building this year. She's built leadership and capacity, not only amongst staff, but also students, and that is why they're here tonight. So they have been looking at different ways, innovative ways to differentiate instruction through technology. But before I turn the floor over to Rebecca, I'd like to introduce our IDEA Architects student group. Come on. They're a little nervous tonight. So we have Dat Ho, Evan Reese, Caitlin Nguyen, Andrew He, Ari Wheeler, Brooklyn Gilmore, Crimson Upreti, Kinsley Snyder, and Memphis Alters Russell. And now I will turn it over to Rebecca to talk a little bit more about what they've been doing this year.
All right, I am Rebecca Dwenger. Thank you for letting us present today. They're really excited and nervous, as you can tell. So the group IDEA Architects came about with a conversation with the 5th grade ELA teachers listed on the slide. And during that conversation, they were really wanting some enrichment for their students that needed those challenges. So that came about, IDEA Architect came about because of that, and you're going to hear what that's all about as they each share everything that we've been doing since the start of the year. All right, are you ready?
Design thinking is like a special way of solving problems. Imagine you're a detective trying to figure out a mystery, but instead of looking for clues, you're trying to find out what people really need and how you can make their lives better. First, you put on your detective hat and learn all about the problem by talking to people and looking at it from every angle. Then you use your imagination to come up with lots of cool ideas, kind of like brainstorming. After that, you pick the best idea and make a mini version of it to test it out. If it works, awesome. If not, you just try again with what you learned. Design thinking helps us make things that are not only fun, but also really helpful for people.
For our design thinking projects, we learn to use some awesome technology tools, kind of like filling up a toolbox that helps us. We learned how to use Google Forms to ask people questions and get their ideas. With Flip, we learned how to make fun videos to share our ideas in a cool way. We learned how to use Canva for designing and collaborating. I liked using the text image generator, which is an artificial intelligence tool, the best on Canva. With Book Creator, we learned how to creatively design books that we can publish and share easily. We have learned and used many other technology tools. All these tools helped us bring our ideas to life and helped us work together better. We also plan to teach our classmates how to use them.
So before you hear about the design process, They're going to be talking about 2 projects, and so this is only half of the Idea Architect group, so there are a lot more of them. And so part of the group has been working for a final product of creating a news site for the 5th graders. And the other group has been creating, or the final product will be, books for 1st graders to listen to and read. So just keep that in mind as they walk you through the process.
The first step in our design thinking process is called empathize. We focused on understanding the people we were creating something for. This means we tried to feel what they feel and see things from their point of view. We watched 1st graders during their reading time with their teachers to see what got their attention. We made a Google form to collect the answers from the 1st graders that we interviewed to find out what they liked and needed. We also researched what makes a great book for 1st graders, thinking about things like the story, the words used, and the pictures. For the 5th grade news project, they started by investigating how people like to get their information. For example, do they read newspapers, watch videos, listen to podcasts, and things like that. Then they made a survey for the 5th graders to fill out. This helped them understand what makes a news source interesting to them and what they would prefer to see. By doing all this, we're not just guessing what others might like, we're using real data from them.
The second step of our design thinking process is called define. We took a closer look at all the information we gathered. The book group looked at all the data from their Google Forms and observations. They looked at all the types of stories 1st graders love, the words that are just right for their reading level, and the kinds of pictures they used. They defined what kind of books they needed to create based on their research. For example, the 1st graders need books about animals and adventure because our research showed 22 out of 46 students were interested in animals when asked what they liked to read about. My news group sorted through the 5th grade survey and research about how people get their news. By looking at this information, we were able to define what a 5th grade friendly news source should look like, focusing on what topics they are interested in and how the news should be presented. For example, the 5th graders need the news site to have a student spotlight because 41% said they are interested in this. It was the top choice. This defined step helped both groups to set a clear goal based on real needs and what they liked.
The first step of our design thinking process is ideate. We came up with these creative ideas based on what we learned in the first 2 steps. The book group used our research to brainstorm ideas for new books. We discovered that 1st graders love stories about animals. So many of our books included animal characters or informational books about animals. We thought about different settings, plots, and messages that could make these animal stories both exciting and educational for 1st graders. The news group organized what topics are most interesting to 5th graders. They decided how to include these topics on the news site and who would be in charge of it. Then each person came up with ideas on how they could display their part on the news site. The ideate step was all about coming up with lots of ideas and then picking the best ones. It was a chance for everyone to make their projects interesting and useful.
The 4th step of our design thinking process is called prototype. We started turning our best ideas into something real. Each person in the book creator group picked their favorite idea. We began writing the story, thinking carefully about using the words that are just right for 1st graders to read. This is what we are working on right now. When we are done with writing our books, we will also start planning out the illustrations. The news group started building the pieces of their news site. This is what they are working on right now. Each person started working on their assigned parts, creating content. They also thought about how to design their website to make it look cool and be easy to use. Their next step is to add the content to the site and then publish the site. The prototype step was all about making our ideas come to life.
In the next step of our design thinking process called test, we'll be sharing our prototypes. This step is super important because it helps us understand if our ideas are really working or if we need to make some changes. The book group will take their book to a 1st grader and a 1st grade teacher. We will ask them to read the book and then tell us what they liked and what they didn't like. This feedback will help us know if our story is good or if we need to change parts to make it better. The news group will share their news site with a small group of fifth graders. They will watch how the fifth graders use the site, which parts they like the most, and how easy they find it to navigate. This feedback will help us understand if their site is interesting and user-friendly or if they need to change anything. The test step is a chance to learn from our audience and make our projects even better.
This process of revising and testing might happen many times. Each time we learn something new that helps us improve our project. We keep going until we feel really good about our final product. This step shows that creating something great doesn't usually happen on the first try. It takes patience, willingness to listen, and the courage to keep making changes until we get it just right. For the book group, our final product after testing will allow first graders books they can read and also listen to. For the news, their final product will be a continuously updated site where fifth graders can stay informed about things that interest them.
These projects highlight the power of technology in education. This is a way for students like me to learn skills that I will need in the future. Going through the design thinking process taught me a lot of cool skills that I know will help me in school and even when I grow up and start working. It helped all of us with collaboration. This is important because in school and jobs, working with others is a big deal. It taught us how to solve problems creatively. Sometimes the first idea we have doesn't work out, so we have learned to just try again. We also got better at talking to people and asking questions, which is called communication. We also learned a lot about being creative and thinking outside the box. Design thinking is all about coming up with new ideas based on what we learn about the people and the problem you are trying to solve, and that's something you can use in any job in the future. These are all skills that will help me do better in school now and be successful in whatever job I decide to do when I grow up.
Questions, comments from the board? Yeah, let's stick around, yeah.
I actually have a question. You guys had mentioned read and listen to. Can you elaborate on what the listen to part is of that?
So on Book Creator, we have two ways to create books. So you can do the text and you can read the book, or you can have voice messages because it's an online site.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Congratulations. This is huge. I mean, this is more than just a project. This is life application for you guys. And you're doing a great job. You're not just going through and doing a project to check a box. I mean, you're going through the whole process, the survey, the review, listening, that list of empathy, problem solving, communication. Communication is key. And you're doing that when you do the surveys, you're reviewing and going back and asking those questions later on to get feedback from your fellow students. This is a big deal, and I'm very proud of you guys. You've done a great job. A lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of focus. So great job. Keep doing what you're doing because there's a lot of adults that can't do this kind of stuff. So keep doing what you're doing. Great job.
I just think it's great to see our future leaders standing over here. Proud of all of you.
Yeah, you've created a framework that's repeatable, right? That can be tied to any problem, right? And work through it to solve it. I think it's, as he said, cutting edge stuff. It's a skill set, as our last speaker talked about, that you can take with you well into the future. So again, congratulations and thank you for presenting tonight.
Yeah, I just want to, sorry.
Go ahead.
I didn't know we were doing comments too. I just thought we were questioning. So I also want to just echo, like, this is fantastic that you guys are doing something that you guys are going to carry with you for the rest of your life, and that you guys are going to have a physical manifestation of this project that you guys have worked on all year, that you can actually show, like, be proud of yourselves, like, this is something that I did, and that's something you guys can carry along with us. Also with all the tools that, like, I did not know how to use Google Forms. Google Forms weren't even a thing when I was your age, and so the fact that you guys have that skill set, something that most of us don't even learn or don't learn until we're well in adults, is fantastic. And I love that you guys are having the option for reading and listening, because that opens it for everybody and has it be more available for more people. And so that, you know, like, congratulations, guys. You guys are doing great, and you're making, like, a big difference in many people's lives, including your own.
And when you're involving your younger classmates, they're looking up to you, whether you think they are or not, or maybe not paying attention. They're seeing that, so when they become you in a couple of years, they can do the same thing, and like Mr. Bates, reproduce that for others. So your leaders, you're doing a great job. That's outstanding. Great job.
Great job. Anything else? Okay, give him another hand. Parents, you're welcome to stay, but you are not obligated.
See you.
There's the energy that they were holding back on. You can hear them down there.
Yeah, right. That's good stuff. Uh-oh, now it's just a little real loud.
It's gonna, yeah. Rubber break kids.
Okay, great, thank you.